I want you to ignore the chaos that is on this side of me. I have been trying, or not trying, but I have been wanting to film this video for a good while now. I had hoped to do it earlier in the week. Anyway, I'm just now getting to it. This is ultimately going to be it's a combo video. I wanted to kind of give an update as far as the show that I know I talked about in some previous videos, because I did end up being a vendor at that show. So I wanted to do a recap of it and talk about how things went, some cool things that happened as a result of being in that show, and also share, since I am working on getting this chaos back together, because ultimately I unpacked my car, threw it in my extra room, and left it. But I wanted to share some of the things that I consider to be my craft show, vendor event, artist exhibition, whatever you want to call it, some things that I consider to be essentials for having a good day, having a great event, things that I have used regularly myself, things that have helped me to be the most successful version of myself at an event that I think I can be. So let's start with a recap of the event. So this was not the event that I really intended to do very well at. I even had some people tell me that this was probably not going to be a great event for me. It was a quilting expo, which quilts are a big deal here where I live in Western North Carolina. Quilting is an art that it's a great handicraft, and people who do it typically have done it their entire lives. I swear I can speak great English. Promise that is the case. Anyway, the people who are quilters, it's generally a generational thing, I have found. There are several generations in my own family who are quilters. That particular skill did not hit me, unfortunately. I did try my hand at quilting when I was younger and failed miserably at it. However, I can crochet circles around the majority of my family, so I think it is just finding what worked for me. Anyway, this was a quilting expo. I was set up as a vendor. There were several other vendors. There was another crochet vendor. There were several related crafts. There was a goat milk soap vendor. She had like goat milk soap, lotions, that kind of thing. So I guess it kind of worked. And I've seen her at other events, and she's amazing. She has great products. That's neither here nor there. But I did have some people say that this probably was not going to be a great event for me, given that it was quilting themed and I have crochet items. However, this ended up being my second best event of the year. I did an event in mid-March that was my best event so far for the year. I did an event in April, which was terrible. I did an event in May, which was also terrible, and I have not done any since then until this one. And as I said, this ended up being my second best event of the year. So I was super excited. It is a biannual event, so hoping to be back at the next one. One tip and kind of like a follow-up as well is don't be afraid to make friends with the people that you're around. I was in a room with another local crafting guild and a lady who teaches weaving, hand weaving. So it was very nice to meet those ladies and to spend a couple days kind of getting to know them a little bit better. And the reason I say is don't be afraid to make friends with the people that you're around or nearby is it can turn into some very cool connections. The other quilting guild that I was near actually invited me to be a vendor at their quilt expo in April of next year, which I am pretty excited about. So it was a great way to make a connection. And the lady who teaches weaving, come to find out she actually has a degree in it, which is amazing in itself. But we spent a lot of time getting to know each other. You know, if she stepped away, I kind of would step over and keep an eye on her table, her booth area. She did the same for me. There was one time I was like, hey, I'm gonna run to take a quick restroom break. Can you keep an eye on my stuff? And when I came back, she had jumped over and was talking to people and was, you know, basically like selling my stuff for me. She was like, hey, she makes great stuff. Aren't these just adorable? Can you believe the things that she has? So it was pretty cool. And I very much appreciate it. And again, I did the same for her. She stepped away to do something and I jumped in for her. So it was a great little like camaraderie kind of thing. Anyway, she was selling or taking donations for her quilting program, her weaving program. And she was basically taking donations for some fibers that she had that she was not really able to use for weaving. And so I went over and I purchased one comb of this, I don't even know what this is. It's a boucle and it's called Lagoon, and I thought it was just beautiful. She asked $1 for this, and I'm like, this will be great. I can make some really cool crochet stuff out of this. I asked her if it was something that you could crochet with, and she went, well, I'm not a crocheter, so I can't say for sure. I think so. So I ended up getting this for $1, and she had a bag, which the bag is not full now because I took some out of it and I added some more. But there were some other fibers in here, and I ended up weaving some of them together, and I made her a plastic bag holder while we were sitting at the show, and she was just so impressed. I'm like, here, take this, use it as an example of something that someone can do with the fibers that you're trying to sell or to give to someone that can use it. This is like concrete proof that it can be used for crocheting, and this is kind of like what it would look like. She was thrilled. She was absolutely thrilled. And the next time I turned around, she had put together a bag, another bag for me that is just like stuffed full of different fibers. She walked over and she goes, here, I think you need this. I want to see what you can make with this. I want you to be able to play with this. I thought that was so sweet of her. And then she came over with this one as well. So she kept just giving me bags of stuff. It was so sweet, and it was just so nice of her. And I'm pretty sure that this is a cotton yarn. And I even told her that. I'm like, pretty sure this is cotton. Then right before we left, as we were packing things up, she comes over again. She goes, here, take this with you. Look at this. Do you know how long it's going to take me to use this? I'm pretty sure there's some pieces in here because like it's, you know, kind of cut. But anyway, I am so excited to be able to play with these and to see what I can come up with, because I think I'm going to be able to come up with some really cool stuff. I even started, and I brought this in here specifically to show as I'm filming, these are some pretty thin cotton fibers, I'm pretty sure, that I ended up putting together. And I started making this while we were still at the show on the Saturday. And it's going to be like a market tote. You can see it's got the flower bottom. It's a little over halfway now, so and it looks a little wide, but it will pull together once I put the top on it with the strap. But she looked over, she looked over at what I was doing, because I sat there and I crocheted about half of it on Saturday while we were sitting there, and she goes, those look so good together. Those colors are just beautiful. And I just looked at her and I held up these because she had given them to me, and she went, how cool is that you put those together sitting here and it looks so great already. She goes, this makes me so happy to see you using what I've given you and making something beautiful out of it. And she just was thrilled, and it was just such a cool experience overall. I don't know what I'm going to do with these. They're more of like a Chanel kind of fiber, but they will definitely be using those to make something at some point. Don't really know what yet. But the kind of the moral, the motto of all of this is, again, don't be afraid to make some connections because you don't know what's going to happen. I think my experience was just an overwhelming positive, but don't be afraid to just talk to people and kind of be a little bit out of your comfort zone. It's a little hard for me. I am, believe it or not, I am an introvert. And so the majority of the time I don't talk to people a lot out in those kinds of settings. But in that you kind of have to push yourself to talk and to be open and kind of join in conversations, chime in, and just be part of a group. And you don't know what will happen. It could end up being you get like tons of free fiber from some sweet lady, or you end up getting invited to another craft show or quilting expo. You just don't know what's going to happen. And so just be brave. Put yourself out there a little bit. You just don't know what you might end up with. Now, having said all of that, here are some things that I keep with me to do these events, and these are things that I have used multiple times now and think that they are well worth the money and the investment, because they are things that I have used multiple times and will continue to use them until I have to replace them. The first thing, and this is probably one of the more expensive items, and I'm probably going to fail at showing it. It is a foldable, like check this out, how thin this is. It's a foldable hand truck. I got this on Amazon several years ago, and I think I paid maybe $40 for it. I would have to go back and look. Very, 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 very well worth the money. It is portable. I mean, it's very easy to do. I will caution you, if you use it, be very careful when you're opening it, because I have smashed my feet with it because it slides up as you are unfolding it or getting it ready to put bins on. But I have 3 totes that, and you know, you can kind of see them sitting here. I have 3 totes that I keep my stuff in. 2 are product totes, and 1 is like my show bin or event bin that has all of like my bags and kind of display materials, pricing, all of that good stuff in there. It will fit all 3 of those, and I can wheel it myself. It's very sturdy. It's a lot sturdier than you would think. So it's very handy. You know, of course, my stuff is all yarn, so it's not very heavy. However, it's very sturdy. It is probably one of the best things I have purchased for doing shows, because it does make loading and unloading that much easier. So very highly recommend that. The next one, and this one, you know, you're probably going to go, why are you saying that's a craft show essential or an event essential? Card reader. This is mine. It is a PayPal card reader. It's the PayPal Zettel. It has a really cool tap to pay. For a very long time, I did not accept cards. And that ended up costing me some sales. And at some point I decided, you know, I probably need to consider getting the card reader. This by far has been one of the best things I have gotten for myself as in my business and doing these shows, because while a lot of people who come to these types of events and these types of things, they do have cash, a lot of people, especially with higher ticket items, such as like I have circle vests and I have, you know, hats and bags, some of like the more expensive items that I have, a lot of times they don't have that cash on hand. And so it does help as you're trying to make a sale or trying to convince somebody, and they say, oh, I don't have enough cash. And you're like, that's fine. I've got a card reader. I can accept all major credit cards. I like this one because it links directly to my PayPal, and then I can transfer that to my business account or whatever I would like, and wherever I want to send it. It's just convenient. It's easy. And most people, if you say, oh, it's through PayPal, it's easily recognizable. And I think, you know, kind of like a Square or something like that. So probably one of the second best investments that I have made. But speaking of cash, I also recommend, as you are doing this type of event, this type of thing, if you, like me, don't have a cash box, then I recommend some type of bag that you can have on you to use to hold your cash. Now this is one that I picked up off Amazon with these cute little hearts on it. I think I paid maybe $8 for this, and I liked it because you can wear it as a crossbody. But one thing that I did with it at this event that I had not done before is I actually did it and used it kind of as like a belt bag. So I put this kind of around my waist and then clipped it, and it sat right on my hip. And it is so convenient too because it will hold my card reader, and you can put cash in here. So I put like my small change in here, like my 10s, 5s, and 1s, and any bigger bills go in the back. That way they are separated. This is just probably also one of the best things that I got. I've tried other types of bags, like I've tried like fanny packs and like belt bags and stuff like that before. None of them really worked, and it was a little inconvenient just to have them that way. The belt bag was it was fine, but it was just still a little awkward. This has been way less awkward, and it's been just a great investment. And like I said, it's got little pockets for everything. You can even put your phone in here if you'd like to keep it convenient and handy, especially for like a card reader. But this has probably been the best style bag that I have had, and I liked it so much that I even bought a second one, because that way if I have someone who's with me and they are helping me at a show, which does happen, sometimes I do take people with me, I give them a bag with some cash in it. That way they can also help customers or people who are at the booth or the table, and that way no one's having to wait just for me. We can take care of someone and get them moving on their way and looking at everybody else's stuff. So highly recommend this bag. I mean, it was, like I said, it was like $8, so it's super cheap. It's held up well. It's very sleek and durable, and I've been really fond of it so far. And I'm gonna put it back in here because, like I said, I'm trying to get myself organized again. The one other item that I would consider like an essential, and of course this is just kind of, stuff that I think, I've really lost like my whole train of thought. I feel very unprepared at the moment. Some other essentials that I think, definitely a phone charger. This will also charge my my card reader, so those are great to have on hand as well. And like I said, this, I'm just going to show this because why not? This is like my event tote. It has like my tablecloths, my table display. These are the stands for my price list, and if you look in here, you can see like business cards, displays, all kinds of shenanigans going on in here. My little glass head for hat displays is also in here. And so ultimately this is the box that holds everything, and it has the majority of what I need to set up my tables, my displays. If I ever forget this box, I don't think I could do a show or an event because I would be lost. Inside the bag, and I just dropped stuff out of it because I didn't seal it like a dodo. Inside this very, very old, decrepit looking plastic bag, there's multiple plastic bags in here. Anyway, this is like the emergency bag. So there is a Sharpie in here. There's a hole punch, a pair of scissors. I think I picked these up super cheap at like Harbor Freight or something. There's some twine. There is a roll of tape in here. There's some glue dots. There's extra, like I said, there's extra plastic bags. That twine is like really wanting to like flop around and be a pain. But this bag is just the just-in-case bag. It very rarely gets used unless I'm going somewhere where I have my banner display or signage that I'm trying to set up. I have had to use the tape before to tape some displays. back before I went or I was able to get like tablecloths, I use just plastic ones from like Dollar Tree or whatever. I have had to tape my tablecloths before if they've gotten torn. So it's always a great idea to have the bag of stuff that you just might need just in case. Even though you may not need it, it's a great thing to have just in case something comes up and you do need to make like a quick emergency fix to a tablecloth or to tie something down. You never know. The scissors have come in handy. The twine I've used multiple times. The scissors probably get used most often out of anything in there, but again, you just never know. So it's always a great idea to have that kind of stuff on hand just in case. I think that's probably pretty much it for what I would consider like essentials, because everything else you could do without. And a lot of it depends on like what you have. These are kind of things that are a little bit more generic and things, like I said, that I've found have worked well for me. So I wanted to share them because I think they would help you regardless of whatever it is you're trying to do. So that is pretty much it. I think it's about time to wrap this up. I'm going to try to get this room more organized. It literally looks like the closet like threw up because everything is out here and it needs to be in there. So I'm going to put everything away, get all of my things reorganized, and then I'm going to go back to working on this beautiful bag and see if I can wrap that up this weekend and add it to the stock for next time. So I hope you enjoyed this rambly little video, and if you have any questions or anything else you would like to see regarding like craft shows or events or anything of the nature, please let me know. I'll be happy to help and share what worked for me and give you whatever tips I can to help you to be more successful as well. And this is my sign to go ahead and stop this video. So hope you enjoyed. Catch you in the next one.